Alright, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host Chuck Stevenson. Coming at you tonight with a special fight preview. So we're going to UFC Fight Night, Garbrandt versus Font. We're going to the co-main event in the strawweight division, my favorite division in the UFC. Xiaonan Yan taking on Carla Esparza. 9 versus the Cookie Monster. This should be a good one, and you know what? It is, I don't know if it was ever officially announced as one, but it's basically a title fight eliminator. You know, the winner of this is rightfully next in line for a title. I don't care who else is ranked ahead of them. I don't care who else is vying for a title shot. The winner of this one deserves to fight for the title next. And they both of them would deserve it. Okay, Carla Esparza, if she wins this, she is on a 5-fight win streak, and you know, built the storyline there is built that, you know, she is the original UFC strawweight champion, and the story's there. She could return to it after how many years? She lost it in 2015, so 6 years later, it's right there. And then Xiaonan Yan, you know, she's like, in a way, the Chinese antithesis of Wei Zhan, in that, you know, Yan had to really work her way up the rankings. I mean, she's on a 6-fight win streak, slowly fighting tougher opponents each time. I mean, and she still hasn't gotten a title shot yet. So, whereas Zhan really got to jump up the rankings because of some flashy finishes, and then, you know, just the proper timing. Yan, on the other hand, she was in the UFC first and still hasn't gotten this close to the title yet. So this should be a really exciting one. And the winner of this one definitely deserves next shot at the title. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the stats here. Yan coming in 13-1. Esparza coming in 17-6. Like I said, both of them are on nice win streaks. Yan hasn't lost since her 3rd fight years ago. Esparza, on a 4-fight win streak, hasn't lost in, you know, almost 3 years. Esparza is the elder fighter, 33 to Yan's 31. Yan will have a nice height advantage, 5 feet 5 inch, 166 centimeters to Esparza's 5 feet 1 inch, 155 centimeters. However, the reach here is evened out at 63 inches, 160 centimeters. So that's some different body proportions there. Either, I don't know if Esparza has the broader shoulders, longer arms, or something's going on, but Yan's taller, but the height there is evened out. So those are your stats. Now let's take a look at each fighter individually. Let's start with the higher ranked fighter, Xiaonan Yan. So Yan is, you know, she's a Sanda fighter. A lot of side kicks. It's a really typical Sanda thing, is that they throw that side kick out a lot. She uses it as a lead. She'll use it to find her range. She'll use it to finish off combinations. She loves to throw that side kick. Also, Sanda base means takedowns usually come from within the clinch as well. And you know, one thing that really you'll notice with Yan is that she throws with bad intentions. Okay, not every punch is thrown at 100%, but she's definitely intends to hurt you with each and every strike that she throws. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. Like, she's a bit of an ish fighter, but unlike, you know, like Holm or Chukagian, they're like, No, she's like, like, she's like really putting some force behind those shots. And then she's always the aggressor. She's always moving forward. Like, you rarely ever see her move backwards in a fight. She's always looking to be the lead, always looking to move forward. Now, one problem that we've seen with her, at least in the only fight we've seen where someone has actually tried it, is that she has somewhat questionable takedown defense. I mean, her last fight was against Claudia Gadelha, and Gadelha did get her down, I think, once or twice in the first round. Now, Gadelha wasn't able to capitalize on it too much because, you know, she gassed after the first round like she tends to do. So we didn't really get to see it in the later rounds. And also, her ground game is still a bit of a mystery. Angela Hill came close to submitting her, if I remember correctly, and I think Kylan Curran got her down at one point too. So she has that questionable takedown defense and a bit of a questionable ground game too. It's still mostly a mystery. So that's Xiaonan Yan. Let's take a look at the Cookie Monster, the former champ, Carla Esparza. Esparza right now is the division's best active wrestler. I mean, bar none, she is the best wrestler currently active within the division. And with that strong wrestling comes strong takedowns. She currently has the most takedowns in UFC women's history. And as soon as she lands one on Saturday night, if she lands one, she expands that record even further. She's also worked on her striking over the years. Now, is she, a K1 level kickboxer? No, but she went from basically being a one-dimensional wrestler to now she has serviceable striking. She can use it to get within range to set up her wrestling, which is, typical for fighters of her generation. And you know what? As long as it works, that's what matters. Now, she's still not a well-rounded fighter, unfortunately. Like I said, her striking, it's basic, and she uses it just to get within range of her wrestling. And she's not like the biggest finisher either. So, her submission game still needs some work as well. And I'll say that, after how many years in the fight game, her biggest weakness still, I would say, is how she reacts to getting hit. Like, she tends to really show that she does not like getting hit. I mean, obviously nobody likes getting hit, but Esparza reacts badly. Like, she gets punched, she's going to squint her eyes, she's going to move her head back and really react to it, which doesn't always look, well, it never looks good in the eyes of judges. Okay, so that's how each fighter, breaks down individually. Let's talk about this fight. So a big thing here is going to be forward momentum. Yan likes to move forward, and she likes to keep her opponents on the edge of her strikes. She does good in the clinch, but she primarily excels when she's keeping her opponents at the edge of her strikes. Whereas Esparza likes to get in a little bit closer. Her takedowns work better when she gets in within range. Not that she can't shoot from way outside, but they definitely work better when she gets within range. And she likes to go really low with her takedowns, more towards like the shin and the ankle than for, like, say, your typical high crotch double or a high double leg. So she likes to get within range. The momentum here is going to be really important because Yan's going to want to keep going forward. She's got to keep Esparza on the back foot, because if she can keep Esparza moving backward, then it makes it a little bit harder for Esparza to get her takedowns. However, Esparza, if she's smart, can really use that momentum against Yan and set up those takedowns to really, get that leverage from underneath and get her up in the air and then back down for the takedowns. Big question is, if we'll say, okay, let's say not if, but once Esparza gets her down, Esparza's got to stay more active on the ground this time than she has in previous fights. Because Yan is going to really be fighting to get back up. She's probably going to try to throw a bunch of strikes from the bottom. Esparza's got to stay active with her top game if she gets her down. She's got to work to pass guard. She's got to improve position. She's got to do everything she can to either work towards the finish or to rack up those points. Because eventually, if she doesn't, then the round will end, and then she got to start all over, back in the stand-up again. And the big question is, as the rounds go on, will Esparza be able to keep getting Xiaonan Yan down? Because Yan is going to keep coming forward and keep loading up on those strikes and just really out-volume strike Esparza. And we've seen how Esparza reacts to big volume strikers. Because remember, when Carlos fought Joanna didn't, TKO her with big punches. She beat her up with volume after stopping the takedown. And the longer the fight goes on, I think the more Esparza risks Yan getting more confident in her takedown defense. So Esparza's got to get her down and keep her down early. Whereas Yan, she's better off, keeping Esparza on the back foot, keeping her on the edge of her strikes, using those kicks to keep the distance, using her punches, keeping her just at the very edge of her range. The more Yan does that and keeps Esparza moving back, the better she'll be moving towards the end of the fight. Okay, so that's my breakdown of each fighter and how their keys to victory as well. So now it's time to get into my prediction. I think this really comes down to who can impose their game plan better. And I got to go with Carla Esparza here. The ground game we saw from Xiaonan Yan and the takedown defense we saw against Claudia Gadelha really has me questioning, what she can do against someone who's going to keep that up for more than just the first round. And we know Esparza can get takedowns in every single round of the fight, and that's what has me picking Esparza to win this one. She's going to take Yan down. She's going to get her down. She might eat some shots on the way each time, but she's going to get Yan down, and I think she'll be able to keep her there a lot better than Claudia Gadelha did. And Esparza doesn't get tired in the same way that Claudia Gadelha did. So that's why I'm going to go with Carla Esparza here. It's a risky pick because she could easily cut some hard punches on the way in, and Yan could just as easily, keep her on the edge and just out-volume her to a TKO or even a decision. But I'm going with the Cookie Monster to win this one. All right, so that's my pick for this fight. We're going with Carla Esparza by decision. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the matchup in the comments down below. If you like the video, please give it a like. Share it as well. That's how the channel gets to grow. And while you're at it, go ahead, subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.